Hello, my name is Chet Eagles and welcome to my erosion project. We're going to start with a standard. So the standard I came up with was to make observations and or measurements to provide evidence of the effects of weathering or the rate of erosion by water, ice, wind, or vegetation. So obviously we're dealing with water a little bit more, so I decided to go there and go with that route. So I tried to look at it a little bit differently and find maybe an issue I was having around the house since we are in the middle of doing a renovation. So I took a look, found out that I'm currently working on an addition in the home, and we're having a problem with some water. In particular corner, we have a little too much infiltration, too much water coming through the ground at that particular point. So here's the low point in the picture here to the right of the house and where these two meet, where the addition meets the original house. And it's a low point, and obviously we don't have any vegetation growing there quite yet because we're still in the middle of building. So the water tends to pull up a little bit in that area because it is a low point. So I thought maybe the soil was getting a little too infiltrated with water. There's nothing there to help retain that water or slide that water away, which eventually ends up leaking into the basement. So big issue for us. So here was my solution that I came up with, basically looking off the what we had online and doing some research, was that I needed to try to grade the soil away from the home, starting higher and going away, to try to get a little bit of runoff to move the water to somewhere else where it could filter more properly in a spot that allows for more filtration that's not going to run into the basement. So with that, I did that and graded it out, and did not get a picture of that, unfortunately, before the next rainstorm came. So here's my issue. It ended up being a little bit too graded, so I was having water move too fast off of the top of the soil, and I had a lot of loose soil without any vegetation to hold that soil together, so I was getting a lot of erosion. So these two pictures to the right, you can see these little streams here that were made from the water moving, and I ended up with a lot of dirt in the driveway and a lot of runoff because of the steepness. So found that out to be an issue. So looking at a new solution, my new solution was to lower the grade of soil until I can get grass to grow there, get something else to put there to make this work. There's not a room for gutter the way that the house is designed, so we need to really make sure we have the best way to use the land that we're given. So I was going to try to find a happy medium and move that down and find a little bit of grade that goes there. Here's my analysis, but back to the new solution. I did not have time, or before this assignment is due, that we had another rainstorm to find out if that was working or not. So hopefully I can update later and let you know how that goes. These are the analysis that I had with the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I wanted to obtain and evaluate and communicate some information that I had, so I looked at my problem. I plan and carry out an investigation on my problem, research some problem. I used the technology that we were given to look at runoff and erosion, and I finally made some sense of the problems and tried to solve and persevere over issues that I was having, and hopefully we'll see what happens from there. Then just lastly, just a little interesting fact that I had. I was actually watching a show called Mighty Rivers by Jeremy Wade this week, where they were trying to combat runoff from farms in the Mississippi. So to do that, they were building these fields. They called them infiltration fields, where there was grass and different other materials that were lower than the crops, and the runoff was made to go in that direction, and then the grass and all that was being used to suck up water and the runoff instead of dumping them into the Mississippi. So and they said, I forget the exact number at this point, I tried to go back and find it, that they were reducing runoff by a staggering amount, and the more farmers that were able to do that or take advantage of these fields could significantly reduce toxic runoff into different rivers throughout the U.S. So hopefully this was a video, hopefully it was a little insight, and I look forward to seeing everybody else's.